Today is a great, wonderful, amazing, incredible day, and I'll tell you why, because it's a Swedish day. How to understand Swedish All Saints Day, or Alla helgons dag. Without further ado, let's get into this reaction. Let's go.
Alla helgons dag is the Swedish All Saints Day, or the Day of Martyrdom. Like most other celebrations of All Saints Day, it was held on the 1st of November originally.
It was held on 1st of November originally. Why did they change the date then?
It was taken from the Catholic tradition, where the practice is the celebration of this day on the 1st of November. Okay. However, in the Swedish Protestant tradition, it is the first Saturday during or after the 31st of October. The
first Saturday after or during the 31st of October. So what are we on today? I'm trying to figure out. So we're on the 20... So today is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I think it's on Friday. So it must be on Saturday. This Saturday is All Saints Day, right? I think.
Same is also the case in Finland and Estonia, where the All Saints public holiday.
Yes, so by the way, for my Finnish people, because I know some of you do watch my Swedish videos as well, I will be looking at the Finnish. It's probably already out. This video would come out after the Finnish one, so you've probably already seen it. And I've checked out, I didn't know in Finland that you guys also celebrate All Saints Day. Probably more so than even Sweden. So yeah, I will be looking at that as well. So yeah, and if you're subscribed to my German channel, I'll be looking at theirs as well, because All Saints Day is also a public holiday in Germany. So yeah.
Was moved from a fixed date of the 1st of November to a public holiday on the Saturday during the period between the 21st of October and the 6th of November.
Okay.
Thus, sometimes this holiday of the Swedish All Saints Day might occur at the same time as the Irish and the Anglo-Saxon traditions of Halloween, that is celebrated on the 31st of October.
But Halloween's different, right? We celebrate Halloween in the UK, but it's separate from All Saints Day, because they also do All Saints Day. Some churches, some denominations of Christianity and Catholicism, they do All Saints Day, but it's separate from Halloween. Halloween is more of a holiday. Halloween is more of an American tradition that came to Britain in the past maybe 15 to 20 years. I think in all of Europe, actually, Halloween is an export, from America to Europe. We never really did the whole trick or treat thing. So yeah, Halloween's kind of new, but All Saints Day is definitely celebrated in some places in the UK, some religious sects in the UK. However, we don't have it as a bank holiday. It's not that important to British tradition, I guess.
As the prelude to the All Saints Day, the Swedish All Saints Day goes back to old traditions in the Catholic Church that the Swedish Protestant Church inherited from the 4th century AD, as there existed in certain parts and at sporadic intervals a feast day to commemorate all Christian martyr saints that had died trying to defend Christendom against the persecutions by the Romans.
So it's to commemorate all of the saints that died trying to fight for Christianity, basically.
Despite the fact that saints actually do kind of exist still in the Protestant Swedish Church, despite Luther's views on sainthood being against it, the holiday is actually not about saints, but rather assumes a rule of general commemoration of the dead and commemorates all Christian dead and not just martyrs or saints. Thus it
Interesting. So has it evolved, basically? It used to be for the saints, and then it was just like a commemoration and remembering everyone who's died. That's a really lovely... It's actually a really lovely day, right? Commemorating anyone who's passed away. Because you know what's so important about All Saints Day is that we often forget those who have passed away. That's what scares me about getting buried. I don't know about how you guys feel about getting buried. Let me know in the comment section whether you're going to get buried or you're going to have a cremation. Because my family, traditionally, we get buried. You know, you have a funeral, you have a graveside, you have a stone, all that type of stuff. But I'm very cognizant, even though I'm not going to be here, clearly, when I pass away. I just think it's really sad when you walk past a gravesite and you see these old, decrepit, falling apart, like gravestones, vandalism, people spray painting on them. People don't even know who these people are anymore. Like, they don't get flowers put on the grave. There's weeds growing on. It's really sad. And that happens after 3-4 generations. People forget. And I just think to myself, do I want a grave? Do I want a grave there if I'm going to be forgotten at some point? You know? It's one of those things. But at the same time, it's a source of comfort. It's a source of comfort for family members. If you passed away, to have a graveside that you can go and visit, like where my grandparents are buried, I can go there and go and visit and talk to them and just be around them. And graveyards can be very peaceful. So I understand that. I don't know how I feel. How do you guys feel about it? I don't know, like getting buried. Anyways, I digress. Let's continue.
It is also a day to remember dead relatives. And for the majority of the day, you're supposed to remember these departed people in respectful, taciturn silence, as you're supposed to keep away from other people, except for your closest relatives. And as you might imagine, this ideal about a respectful and silent mourning and self-imposed reclusiveness does not match well with Swedish people that have adopted the American tradition of Halloween when it occurs at the same time.
That was so random. The American. That was a transition that I wasn't prepared for.
With the bombastic clothing and the masks and the trick-or-treat ideas. And in conservative Swedish circles, this is quite frowned upon. Speaking about conservatives, though, and Swedish Lutheran Protestant traditions, traditionally, only certain types of food were allowed or eaten during this day, and in certain cases, even fasts were upheld during this day.
Right, okay.
Though it should be said that most Swedish persons no longer practice this. Instead, usually people actually feast during this time, despite the fact that you are not supposed to consume copious amounts of food during this holiday, and rather limit yourself to just certain types of food, or none.
Well, I think eating as well and celebrating and feasting is also a good thing, because you're remembering the dead, you're remembering the good times, you're remembering, like, you know, happy times with the people that you've lost. So it makes sense that you would feast and have a happy party or whatever. Not even a happy party, just have a gathering of family and eating. I think it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. I wish the UK had that as a holiday, because, like I said, like, graves get, even newer graves, people that have only been dead for like 10 years, they get forgotten and people don't go to their gravesite. And yeah, it's sad, man. Like, I'm even feeling right now, I'm like, oh my God, I need to go visit my grandparents when I'm back in the UK and put some flowers down, because, like, they get forgotten. And yeah, it's a tradition like this that happens every year is so important, so that you can go to the graveside, so you can put flowers down, so you can, I think you guys light candles and, you know, you're together. What else do you do by the graveside? You just go there and light candles? I need to know. Let's see if you talks about it.
Another practice that was common in the past during the 18th century, but is rarely done nowadays, except in very few cases, is that people used to flog themselves in remembrance of past martyrs within Christianity. This was called späkning, where you...
Okay, that's a bit weird. I'm glad that's not part of the tradition anymore. That is a bit weird. You used to flog yourself. and each other bleed with pain. That's a bit weird.
You flogged yourself and did self-flagellation or other types of self-harm in order to remember the suffering of Christian martyrs. Actually, this is taken from old German and Dutch Christian traditions and was imported into Swedish culture. And even if people might think that this is...
Okay, those hats are a bit weird. But you know what? There's weird, like, traditions and weird dress sense that gets adopted like later on and co-opted, and like obviously the KKK, you know, with the hoods and the white hoods, they took that years and years, hundreds of years later, thousands of years later, or hundreds, I don't know, a long time later, and used it for a different reason. But yeah, this is a bit weird. I can't lie, this is not normal. But I don't know, we somehow made it acceptable to inflict pain on ourselves in remembrance. Weird.
A purely Catholic idea of sainthood remembrance by flogging yourself. Martin Luther, the originator of the Protestant Reformation, actually regularly practiced self-flagellation as a means of mortification of the flesh. And in the 95 Theses, specifically in Thesis 3, Martin Luther stated that inner repentance is worthless unless it produces various outward types of mortification of the flesh. So this is where this rather extreme practice of self-flagellation comes from. Wow. However, I would like to restate that this is very rarely done during the Swedish All Saints' Day, and mostly done within frikyrkor. Frikyrkor are free churches.
Wait, hold up, sorry. This is still done. This is what he's saying right now. This is still done. I thought this is something that he's talking about way in the past. They used to do this crazy thing where they used to hit themselves, you know, inflict pain on themselves in remembrance, in remembering people that suffered in the past, blah, 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 blah. No. He's saying that this is still done in free churches outside the national church. Okay. If this is your church and you do this, I'm not disrespecting you. It's just very shocking. Everyone should be free to practice religion however they want. And if they're inflicting pain on themselves, is that okay? I mean, we have free will. You can do what you want. But I don't... Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't. I don't know if you guys would, but people within this church do. Hey. Who am I?
That is to say, Protestant Christian groups that are not within the standard Swedish National Protestant Church. Though some of them do descend from the Swedish National Protestant Church due to schisms happening within the Swedish National Protestant Church. Others are entirely separate Protestant groups. The most mainstream thing about späkning or self-flagellation I could find with regards to the Swedish All Saints' Day is that it was supposedly done by David Petander in the beginning of the 20th century.
Okay.
That he might have practiced it, especially during holy days, such as the Swedish All Saints' Day. However, he can't really be considered really mainstream either, despite being a very important theologian and priest within the Swedish Protestant Church, as he was into a lot of extreme, esoteric and ascetic Christian practices. What I
Oh god, what else is he going to say? What else has he done? Does he do?
Wanted to say is that späkning or self-flagellation is not a common practice during the Swedish All Saints' Day in modern times.
Good.
Regarding more common practices that are held during the Swedish All Saints' Day is what happens during late evening or night, and that is communal mass in church with certain rituals. For example, the priest during All Saints' Day Mass will name all of those that have died from the congregation within the last year.
Right, okay.
And bells will be tolled, hymns will be sung, music will be played, and then, after these ceremonies, each individual believer is supposed to make an individual approach to a remembrance candle, which is usually placed in the middle of the church.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So the priest reads out the names of all the people that have died or passed away, family members, loved ones, and then people from the congregation go to the front and put a candle of remembrance. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That I can subscribe to that. That's nice. That's really nice. It's beautiful. I used to go to church when I was a lot younger, and I remember the priest, when we used to have people who passed away that went to our church, he would read the names of people that had passed away in the church. But I don't think that was for All Saints Day. I just think that was something that he did every year. Maybe it was All Saints Day. Maybe we did practice All Saints Day. I didn't realize it. That's entirely possible. But this is beautiful. We never had any candles or anything like this. This is stunning.
And lit a candle as you call out each person's name of those that are close to you and have been lost, and you make individual prayer around this candle for the deceased that you feel need the honor and God's grace. If you are a truly devout traditional believer, then you will also wear special clothing that is worn during many days of Christian celebration. These are usually black or white. But there is a type of special clothing used among certain groups of Protestants in Sweden that are very similar to the clothing used during celebration of the holiday of St. Lucy's Day, as there is some overlap in traditions. This means clothing such as robes in white and sometimes even hoods in order to reduce one's own distinctiveness and to increase one's own humbleness in remembrance of the dead and one's own fleeting nature before the judgment of God. Sometimes the carrying of burning torches and candles.
Excuse me, guys. I'm so sorry. I just sneezed. That was, have you ever had that just come over you? I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna sneeze. I need to hold it in. Anyways, excuse me. The white hoods, and now I understand, and the white robes, I understand that now. It makes complete sense why it's like coming forth to God, in front of God, as a humble being, realizing that your life is fleeting, you are not important, don't look at me, like I don't need to show myself. I am a humble being coming forth, remembering the people that have passed away, and being thankful for my life, and thankful for each day I'm allowed to live on this earth and be blessed. I get it. I get it. It's very beautiful. It's very nice.
During both the day and the night or evening of All Saints Day is also done. And before you ask, my American viewers, no, this is not KKK dresses.
I'm not gonna lie, it does look like the KKK dress. It looks a lot like it, but like I said early on in the video, people often co-opt movements, co-opt dress sense. Even the swastika was initially, it wasn't a symbol of Nazi Germany. Actually, I saw where did I see the swastika? I think it was in Indonesia. I went to Indonesia, went to Bali, lovely place, on holiday, and I went into this temple or museum or whatever, and we saw the swastika, and the swastika doesn't mean what we know the swastika to mean, but the Nazis took that symbolism and used it for evil. So it's like the same could be said about these guys, the KKK, in their white robes, who hate me because of the colour of my skin. How weird is that? I hate you because your skin is brown. Yeah. Anyways, let's continue.
Origins of this clothing style by both the KKK and the believers that practice the Swedish version of All Saints Day are actually going back to older Christian traditions regarding white clothing, hoods and various rituals. See for example the Catholic caperuit dress, used in southern Europe during certain celebrations. However, it should be emphasized again that the Swedish All Saints' Day is a time of mourning and sad remembrance, rather than the happy occasion of Halloween. But it's also a very sacred day, and thus very different from Halloween in America, that has been largely secularized in its celebration.
Do you know, we have America to thank, or not thank, of like literally turning every religious day into a commercialized thing. America, that's the thing. They're really about capitalism, right? Look what they did to Christmas. Christmas now is not the birth of Jesus. In fact, most people forget it's about the birth. It was initially about that, Jesus' birthday, right? Now it's Santa Claus and presents and feasting and shopping and sales. Easter is now about the Easter bunny and chocolate and buying lots of chocolate and gorging yourself on chocolate. All Hallows Eve is now Halloween, where you go trick-or-treating. It's about sweets and confectionery and parties. Mate, just leave it alone, America. What else are they going to turn into a holiday?
And thus, it's actually considered a day where demons, spirits and trolls are at their weakest in Swedish folklore.
Oh.
And thus, actually, people running around in various monster masks and the like is actually seen kind of as being strange from a Swedish perspective. Because remember, for believing Swedish Protestants, this is a day to remember martyrdom and the faithful dead who are now in God's grace, in whom you can trust. Faith conquering evil. Belief in God's mercy being above the evils of the world. Thus, it is also considered a good day where evil will not touch you. So even if it's a day of sadness, it's also a day of peace and quiet comfort in the greatness of God for the Protestant believers in Sweden. That was a
very, very pretty. Very, very
short video about.
That was, thank you very much. That was a good video. This video is a very, very good video. It gets a like from me because I've learned so much more. He finished it by saying, this day is sacred. It is about a Protestant belief of, remembering those that have been lost. Remember those who have died in wars, died in conflict, died for good reasons. It is when demons and evil things are weaker. If you're religious, I get it. I completely get it. As someone who used to be a Christian, grew up as a Christian, I used to go to church every week. I completely get it. Now, what would I say I am now, guys? I don't know. I actually don't fully know. I've been looking recently into pantheism. I don't know if you know what pantheism is. It's looking at and seeing God as not a physical being. I will smite thee. I don't like this. I am a vengeful God. I am an angry God. I am a jealous God. All that type of stuff. I don't think God's like a human being. I don't want to put human feelings and human form on an entity that's beyond us. I feel like God is energy. God is everything. God is in everyone. God is, when you look at a tree growing, it's in nature, it's in everything. It's energy. So that's what pantheism is, I think. I think that's what I closely kind of align myself with. In goodness, putting out good energy into the world, you get it back. I feel like I am excited and happy doing these videos. I love learning about Sweden. I love Sweden. And that energy goes out to you guys. And then you guys give this energy back to me. I always see your comments. They're so lovely and kind. And I read them and they make me happy. And I just feel like life is that energy. You give out good energy comes back. If you put out negative energy, bad energy comes back to you. It's just that. That's how I see things. So I like All Saints Day in the fact that it is positive energy. You're remembering people that have passed away. You're remembering the good things about those people. You're lighting a candle, you're being peaceful, you're being mindful, and I think that's beautiful. Whether I believe all the, stuff he was talking about evil and demons and stuff like that, and God and entities and stuff, but I can get with the spiritual part of it, and beautiful. I definitely would attend an All Saints Day. I definitely would, especially if you're lighting candles and you're remembering people that have, passed away, family members. So yeah, this was an awesome video, and I learned even more than I did last year, because I actually did an All Saints Day video last year. If you want to check that out, that was the first time I have ever heard about All Saints Day. The video should be on the screen. I'm going to pop it up. But yeah, check that video out, because that was the first time I ever heard about All Saints Day. And this time I learned a lot more. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Until the next one, I will see you very soon.